I would say, I would echo, Todd's point. I think it's both education and the incentive. I think the key for the consumer adoption. I think sometimes in both in merchant and, in the case of adoption by merchant, it's a catch-22 situation. Merchant think that they should adopt something which is consumer want, and consumer really are waiting for why they should adopt this. So
Yeah.
the consumer does become a key more than the merchant in some cases. So I think it's really important is the how the payment especially can be driven for the consumer, benefit. Because if you really see the APIs at this time right now, it's more of the data and the less of the payments, and why the consumer should adopt it. And we've got a lot of feedback around where is the consumer incentive. If the consumer are getting, points on their cards, or, the refund on their cards, and will the market or will the consumer wait for 2 years for, let's say open banking or banks to develop the refund API or refund feedback, or, there are a lot of currently issues in terms of the consumer adoption as per se, if you look at.
Yeah, very good.
Just actually building on Todd and Manish's thoughts, I think kind of them working through what's the right way of influencing in these areas. So things like the you were talking there, Todd, about the user experience. Now, the right way of doing that, and this will be the sorts of things to think about. So there's already quite a well-defined set of customer experience guidelines around open banking, but actually there's probably more we could do to then think through what are the additional payment considerations that can contribute and build on. So rather than try and create something different and alternate, maybe the right route is improve what's there rather than build a new best practice guide. But we can work through the right way of doing some of these things. And you mentioned some of the performance piece. I actually still think so one of the things that hasn't really happened anyway yet, other than for some of the CMA9, is really clear reporting on bank API behavior performance. That might be a good thing to sort of champion, because it's good for all participants. Now, who does it and how that gets solved, different question.
Every now and then you do receive, the downtime, and I think every day there's a new downtime from one of the bank. And if a consumer, until consumer experience it, they don't know. Once experience, if it fails, that will be the last time they will experience it, and after that they will not really do it, because if the first impression or the first experience is bad, then the customer will not adopt it. I think I would say the performance is also the key